fans, I think, can sense it right now.
To go, inbound to Weatherspoon with one. Weatherspoon puts up the three. It's no good!
The Liberty Flames are still dancing.
Fan the Flame to the biggest victory in school history.
Georgia to inbound, gets to the AC. Deep three, pull up. He banked it in! He banked it in!
Shot at the buzzer.
Good! It's good! It's good! It's one more!
Larry Blair reverse layup up and in, and he's fouled.
Man, you talk about degree of difficulty.
With two, Georgie at the buzzer. Got it! He got it!
Darius McGee, a game for the ages.
And Liberty wins 4 games in the Big South Tournament to take home the 2013 crown. Look at Bio Baxter Bell.
25 for Colin Porter.
Holmesley, splash.
Shiloh Robinson with an effort play.
And Liberty keeps on coming.
A huge basket by Kyle Rome.
Got it! Pacheco with the three.
Liberty, put your dancing shoes on.
Well, hey, what's going on? Welcome to the A Sea of Red live podcast. This is the basketball edition. We're back after a little break. Life's been crazy this time of year. I got my main man, the Reverend, the Doctor at Did Liberty Win, Will Matthews. Will, how are we feeling, brother?
Good, man. Good to be back. Appreciate filling in, everybody filling in for me last time, and enjoyed the conversation with our guy Joel Vanderpool, and looking forward to coming up here at the end of the year. Could be some good weekends coming up here for Liberty Athletics. Yeah,
absolutely. And got 2 really interesting games that we'll talk about coming up here to kind of wrap up the 2023 year, which has been another great year for Liberty basketball calendar year wise, and looking forward to 2024. Coming up today, we have Bill Smith, SID of Liberty. A long time coming. I've wanted to have Bill on for a while, just haven't reached out. Bill was kind enough. Bill is at Utah Valley. I don't know what city Utah Valley is. I got about 100 notes on them, but I don't know what city they're from. So, but Bill's wherever they are, he's going to come up. And then Coleman Crawley, the mid-major king, is going to join us at about 9 p.m. So we got a fun show tonight. But it's going to take a little while, Will. And when you got a show, you got to stay up a little later than normal. What do you need? You need Ironclad coffee. And I know Will's got his cup ready to go in the Flames cup. I mean, talk about pro. What flavor are we rocking tonight, Will?
We've got the bare knuckle tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a robust flavor. It is strong, but like not so strong that you really have to do like a lot of sweetener.
Okay.
A little bit of cream for me, and it's chef's kiss.
Well, I mean, this might be the bare knuckle portion of the schedule for Liberty, wrapping up and getting into conference play. So I think that is very apropos, Mr. Matthews. And of course, you got that at ironcladcoffee.com. Super easy to order. Make sure you guys support them. They support Liberty Athletics unlike anyone else. They're everywhere. So you love people who love Liberty. Ironcladcoffee.com. The person you forgot to get something for Christmas. I doubt they can ship it that quick, but you can at least have something ready for maybe the first week of January for the person that you forgot. All right. Well, we got a lot to get to, my friend. We had 3 games, so we're going to kind of recap the ones that we missed, not spend too much time in detail, especially the last one. But Liberty falls to Grand Canyon 69-64, a game, I would say a frustrating loss, Will, because you're up 23-6 midway through the first half. Just a day where Liberty could not make a three-pointer. A lot of credit I think you have to give to Grand Canyon and their defense. I thought their defense played outstanding. I think Grand Canyon is a really, really good team. but this was definitely one that I don't know, might haunt Liberty a little bit down the road. A game that you're at home, you expect to win.
Yeah, it was a little reminiscent of that Southern Miss game from last year, except for it was just the opposite, where Liberty got out to a big lead and Grand Canyon made a good comeback. This one hurts, I feel like, because this could have been a really good win on the resume. I guess the fact that Grand Canyon is a really good team, it doesn't emotionally hurt a lot, because like you lost to a good team, but it is very disappointing to know that that we had that one, seemingly halfway through the first half, just kind of let it get away, a little bit of sloppy play, and then just the 3-point struggles was, I felt like, the dagger for this game.
Yeah, I mean, Grand Canyon is really good. They're 56th in KenPom right now, sandwiched in between Virginia Tech and Wake Forest. So that's the caliber of opponent that you were playing here. Grand Canyon's good. I tell you what, that's a team that you had to, talk about sneaky Sweet 16. If they get I think they could legitimately be a 12 seed in the tournament. They're a team that could win a couple games. They're really talented. But yeah, I mean this one it stung. I will say though, maybe really glass half full here. It's good for Liberty to play some of these really tight games early in the year. We haven't had a whole lot of those games. And when you're talking Conference USA tournament, when we'll talk about the Conference USA in a minute. There's a lot of really quality teams, and I think if you're fortunate enough to win the Conference USA tournament, even if Liberty proves to be the best team, which I think they will, they're probably going to have to win 2, maybe 3 games that are, a couple possessions in that tournament.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Liberty is as far as Conference USA goes, one of the teams that I guess you would say is obviously preseason what they were, but just a lot of scoring coming back minus Darius McGee. So facing a Grand Canyon team like this is almost facing, with the amount of players that they had coming back on their team with their experience, is like facing a top half Conference USA team. Grand Canyon would be sitting at the top of the Conference USA. So I feel like it was a good challenge as far as what kind of quality we can go up against and compete with at a high level.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the next game. Liberty 20-point winner over Tennessee State. This was really a nice win for Liberty. I think they were only 12-point favorites in this game. To be able to win this one by 20, run up the margin. Liberty, pretty lackluster first half. Kind of felt like this was a later tip. It was, I think, a doubleheader with the women's game. So even me, the night owl that I am, kind of kept myself kind of yawning in that first half. But I tell you what, Richie got into the boys, because that second half, Liberty outscored Tennessee State 40-17 in the second half, and they held them under to 0.55 points per possession, which, if you don't know, 1.0 is average. So you're holding them to literally almost half of that. That is elite defense. And one other point, Will, before I get your thoughts on this one, Joseph Van Zandt, I was digging a little bit today. He's underrated, but I think people will go, oh, he's underrated. Yeah, because he's a great defender. Now, this dude is underrated offensively. He's shooting over 70% from the field on 2-point attempts, which is 90% of his shots. This guy is incredibly efficient around the rim. I think we need to give Mr. Van Zandt a little bit more credit than I think we do.
Yeah, his rebounding has really been able to facilitate some of that scoring that, he's getting some of those second looks like that with offensive rebounds and just putting it right back up. We all know that he's a great defender, plus defender. That's what he brings to the table. And then, to be able to bring that offense efficiency, I think really helps Liberty out. I think you talked about that a little bit before the season started about getting him the ball a little bit more and kind of seeing what he could contribute offensively. I didn't watch this game in all transparency. I kind of saw the score at halftime and I was like, what's, kind of like what's going on. I felt like we should have been up a little bit better on Tennessee State. But then when I saw the final score and I saw that we won by 20 and I said, coach got him right there at halftime.
And then the last game, we won't spend a ton of time on this. This is the rare Liberty game I did not watch. We had some Christmas stuff going, and I did not step back and watch the tape of this one. But Liberty knocks off St. Peter's Presbyterian 99-26. The one nice thing, though, Will, I will say, I know we've had a lot of fun poking fun at these kind of games over the years. Liberty does have some really good depth, and it's nice to see like Xander Yates and Ben Sutherland be able to get some minutes and actually put up some good numbers just for, their confidence sake, just for them to kind of get that. But you never know when those guys are going to need their name called a little bit more, whether there's an injury down the line, whether you have one of those crazy games where everyone's in foul trouble. Nonetheless, it's just good to see. Obviously, Xander Yates 6 of 7 from 3. It doesn't matter who you're playing against. That's you still have to make those shots. So I guess that's maybe the one nice takeaway from that.
Yeah, that's how you have to look at these games like this. You have to look at it like I'm going to get to see some guys play some meaningful minutes that maybe won't play those meaningful minutes later unless there's an injury, unless something happens where, maybe they get in and get hot and kind of prove themselves to the coaching staff. But so, yeah, good to see, Sutherland kind of fill the stat sheet. Xander Yates, 6 from 7, 3-point, kind of ridiculous, but it's a great practice for the team.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's have a quick 30-second word from our friends at Experience Leesburg, and then we're going to bring in Bill Smith live from Utah.
It's real Florida. It's old Florida, and it's close to all of the Central Florida attractions. Crystal clear natural springs in one of the largest chain of lakes. The beautiful lakefront city of Leesburg offers the best in outdoor adventures, fishing, and quaint shops and restaurants on historic downtown Main Street. Come visit and see how welcoming a hometown city feels. Experience Leesburg, the way Florida is meant to be.
All right, we're joined now by Liberty men's basketball SID Bill Smith, live from is it Orem, Utah? Is that how you say it?
It is Orem. Yes, good to hear from you, Nick. But we're actually staying in Provo, so we are actually a little bit closer to BYU than we are to Utah Valley right now.
Is Jimmer Fredette around?
No, he is not. We have not seen him yet, but maybe he'll pop up tonight.
Big Jimmer Fredette fan back in the day. But Bill, it's awesome to have you with us. For the folks who maybe don't know what an SID does, and I think we could probably spend 3 hours giving you your whole job, because I think you do probably the same job that if it was the Atlanta Hawks is probably like a team of 25 people do. But tell the folks what all you do for Liberty basketball and how you got involved with the team.
Yeah, sure. So this is my second year working with Liberty men's basketball, but my 8th year at Liberty. This opportunity came open in last October, and I got asked hey, would you be interested in working with men's basketball? I said, absolutely. But at that time, I didn't know, I knew the program was special and there was just something different about the team and the success and everything, but I didn't know going into it what to expect. And I jumped in, and here we are today in year 2, and I'm loving it. So just, a little bit of my responsibilities include the game notes, just communicating with media, setting up interviews. I'm used to being the one setting this up and not being on something like this, so it has me a little uncomfortable, but I'm enjoying it. And so just facilitating all of that, and then also working with local media as well as opposing teams coming in and trying to be hospitable to them and making sure they have what they need and then also doing post-game press conference interviews, facilitating all that with our coaches and student athletes. And so that's just a little synopsis. And then working with the creative team as well, just keeping them in the loop about career highs, any milestones, anything that we should keep in mind to have ready when something happens. So
what's is there one part of the job that you like to do other than maybe some other menial task involved?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of us are seen as, stat geeks and stat nerds, and I love numbers, and it's great and all, but I would just say just working with the guys and the coaches and everybody here is amazing, and it's special when you get to interact with them on a personal level, get to know them, spend time in the hotel with them, play Settlers of Catan with them, just do different things, play pickleball with some of them. So there's just a lot of, personal interaction that I get to experience on the road and being in Utah with these guys too. So
Who's the big Catan guys on the team?
Oh, I only played once this season so far, and I am not very good and definitely came in last place, but Shiloh Robinson, very, very heady on the court and also very good at Catan. Played with JV as well. He played with us, and then our strength coach, Rob Hornet. That was the group that I played with, but some other guys will mix in, like Steve Burgraff and those guys. So, yeah, I definitely finished in last.
Yes, this is the hardcore stuff I wanted to get out of you. See, we just get all these cookie cutter answers from the Liberty players because Richie's got them trained so well. But this is the stuff we want. All right. Utah Valley. This is a interesting opponent. I don't remember. I've been following Liberty basketball for, gosh, what was it, 20 years now, almost. Don't remember a whole lot of games played on the road at Utah Valley. Looks like they have a really nice gym there from kind of the pictures and stuff I was looking at today.
Yeah, so we just came from there a little bit ago. We had a shoot around there, and very unique school just in that they went straight from the JUCO ranks to D1 that was, as far as I know, that's the only school that's done that, and that was in 2003. And just to see their facilities, and I haven't been to Utah, so this is my first trip here, but just seeing the mountainscape behind all the athletic facilities, the academic buildings is mind-boggling. And I feel like I haven't asked every person on this trip, hey, have you been to Utah before? But the looks and the pictures the guys are taking give me a perspective that, hey, maybe most of us haven't been here before. So, the arena is nice. I think it seats about 7,500 and looks like a good venue for a game tomorrow.
Awesome. Hey, this is your second year in the program, first year of Conference USA. So you get to see a lot of different places, including Utah. But this year you've been to Myrtle Beach and Charlotte. And is there any of those places so far that you've been to that sticks out as being nicer than the others, or a place that you like to visit more than some?
I mean, playing at the Spectrum Center was pretty cool in Charlotte, so that was really neat. And we were also kind of near where the UVA locker room was, so we got to see those guys in passing, and just having 3 games in one night there was cool, and being able to kick it off with a win was great. But the arena here, I'm trying to think. Someone said to me when we walked in, hey, this kind of reminds me of Kennesaw in a weird sort of way. They have the 7,500 seats, but some of the bleachers were like pushed up, like kind of like there was something behind there. So it kind of, I don't know, it to me it looked like Kennesaw in a weird sort of way. I don't expect it to be quite as rowdy, but you never know tomorrow. I'm not sure what we're expecting with students here or not here, but it should be a good atmosphere for a game.
Yeah, Utah Valley has a pretty nice little recent pedigree. I know they've just a wild team with so many transfers they've got in. They got a first year coach now, but they've been competitive against a lot of really good competition here early in the year. Bill, before we brought you on, we were talking a little bit about that game against St. Andrews, and this schedule for Liberty has been absolutely daunting this year. I can't remember a non-conference anywhere like this where game after game after game were competitive. Like Tennessee State was the easiest Division I opponent in the last several weeks, and they're a quality team that's capable of a lot. But that game on Saturday, do you think it was like important to kind of have one of those games to kind of get some guys that it feels like Richie's maybe shorten his bench a little bit, get some more guys some additional minutes and some additional reps and experience?
Sure. Yeah. I know you guys were talking about it before I came on. I heard you mentioning it. Just seeing guys like Xander go off and have 23 points, and just seeing Ben getting that opportunity and it being named Conference Freshman of the Week. So that was first time we'd had anyone newcomer or freshman of the week since Kyle in 2019. So it had been a while since we had a newcomer. I know in the ASUN they did stuff where transfers were eligible for that award. So just seeing Ben get recognized, seeing JC and some of the other guys get more minutes and Bryson get in there a bunch. It was, good to get them. I think good to get them that experience. And, and their teammates were great on the sideline or bench side there. They were, you see several pictures of Colin, JV, Gabriel, all those guys just going nuts for those guys whenever they made a shot. So it was special in that. And just seeing, Xander had the quietest 23 points I can remember. I know we say that a lot about Darius McGee, but I look at it when Xander had 17. I'm like, he has 17 points, and then he finished with 23. It was cool to see.
Talk about Gabriel McKay for a second. I feel like he's the superstar that we all want to know about right now. He's like bringing big energy to the team. Feels like he's going to be in the NBA in a couple of years. Talk about like his emergence on this rotation.
Yeah, and he really has stepped it up in the last several weeks and just playing an important role. Very big energy guy on defense, but when he has an open three, he's knocking it down too. And it's cool to see him evolve on the offensive end, and he's getting 4-point play chances and he's just and he's the most outlandish personality on the team and a lot of fun to be around. So I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen what him and JC are doing with the Players Lounge and just their personalities get to shine through that. But on the court, he's a leader. He's doing a lot of great things so far this year.
All right, we're getting close to Conference USA play. What's kind of been your kind of initial thoughts? I assume you went to the media day out in Alabama.
Yes, yeah, I was there. Mm-hmm.
What's kind of your initial thoughts about the league and some of the teams, and how has it maybe been different than the ASUN from at least your perspective?
Yeah, it was definitely a great event to be a part of in mid-October there in Huntsville, and cool to have it in the city that's going to host the neutral site championship there. But it was a first-class event and really nice at the U.S. Air and Space Center there, and just being able to be there for that was cool with Kyle and Coach and our women's team as well. I'm just week to week I'm kind of keeping up with what teams are doing, who's winning awards, who's beating who's had some setbacks. So I think Liberty is in a good position to, make a nice run at it. And it'll just be unique going to all these places that we haven't been to and playing road games out in Texas and New Mexico and just new venues. And after being in the ASUN for 5 years, we were starting to get used to some of the gyms there and just how things look and backdrops and everything like that. But now we don't know what to expect, or at least I don't know what to expect in CUSA play so far. But I think we're ready for it once the calendar hits 2024.
Yeah, kind of a non-basketball question here, Bill. You guys will be hitting the road to, was it Birmingham after the Orem, and then you've got Christmas in between. Right after that Alabama game, does the Liberty basketball team get together to watch the Fiesta Bowl, or does everybody kind of go home for New Year's, or like what? Like, is there any plans on the?
You don't know the schedule. You don't know the schedule. They got 11 a.m.
What's after Alabama?
They have an 11 a.m. game on New Year's Day.
Oh, do they?
The only game I know of that day is
over
the Boys game. Yeah, we are playing Boyce at 11 a.m. On New Year's Day. Come on out to
Liberty. You could send half the team to play against Boyce, and the rest can sit back and watch the bowl game.
I don't know about that. I heard they've got some players, but yeah, we. I think I saw something that today. My wife sent me that the local movie theater is actually going to be showing the Fiesta Bowl. From what I heard, I saw that on the news. So,
oh wow,
for people who are around for Christmas break, that might be a good option. But think the game will be done before kickoff. But that's the only. Everyone's asking me, "Are you going to the Fiesta Bowl? Are you going to the Fiesta Bowl?" I'm like, "Oh, I've got a basketball game, and that's all I'm really worried about." I may not have my full undivided attention to the football game till second quarter, so with post game stuff. So, yeah.
We'll be locked into Boyce. What are you talking about, Will? Come on, get out of here with that. No, it was funny. Mid-major madness was poking a little bit of fun at Liberty scheduling an 11 a.m. game on New Year's Day. I thought it was funny. I thought it was all in good fun. But that was scheduled. That was scheduled before the Fiesta Bowl. That was not because of it. That was
the Fiesta Bowl should probably bump the game back to like 3 or 4 Eastern. Come on now, like we had that game first, so I don't know why they're bumping up against our game. Come on,
ABC, get it together. All right, well, Bill, this has been a lot of fun. Appreciate you taking some time to join us, and we'll have to catch back up again soon. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks, Nick. Yeah, I still remember meeting you at Bellarmine at Freedom Hall last December, and for that Bellarmine game. So it's good to finally chat with you on here. And Will, I feel like I've known who you are, but I've never actually had a conversation with you. So it's nice to actually talk to you. And I love what you guys are doing, and I appreciate all the coverage you guys are providing Liberty basketball. And it's fun to hear from you and fun to watch. And I used to. Around this time last year, I didn't fully grasp Ken Pom and all this and that, but now it's Nick. I'll tell you this: it's a daily habit. I got to check it. It's like it's like eating cereal in the morning. I gotta see what's going on with the Ken Pom, and it changes by the hour. So I appreciate that you guys are so heavily invested in Liberty basketball.
I love it. All right, Phil, appreciate it. All right, we're gonna have a quick word from our guy Jason Porter. Be back with Coleman Crawley here in just a little bit.
Well, hey, everybody. My name is Jason Porter. I'm with Legacy Realty and Development, and it's been a great partnership here with Sea of Red lately. I was with Liberty Athletics as the Associate Athletic Director for Sports Medicine, so took care of all of the healthcare needs and coordinated that with a fantastic staff at Liberty in the athletic department, of course, for about 5 or 6 years, and then moved into real estate full-time and with Legacy Realty and Development. And it's just been a great pleasure to continue to stay connected with my Liberty University family and the athletics family as well. I've been enjoying serving them. A lot of the graduate assistants and some of the staff that I hired has come back now and has been using me for residential services, which I really appreciate. But certainly do residential real estate as far as buying and selling of homes, of course. And then also we have a strong commercial presence as well. So commercial real estate, obviously a very, very different animal than is residential. But whether it's buying and selling commercial properties or just the leasing of properties, we can help with that as well. So it's been a great opportunity to service our commercial clients as well. And then certainly on the investment front too, a number of folks who have discovered the power of passive income through real estate and investing in real estate with rental properties or fix and flips, those kind of things. And so great joy to serve my clients in that capacity as well. The other thing that I would add too is just a very, very full Rolodex at this point of contractors and subs and just different professional contacts that I've made through the years. So if I can ever provide any of those folks to you and all of a sudden you need a plumber or an electrician or a contractor to build your deck, whatever, I'd certainly be glad to give you access to that Rolodex and those references as well. Because a lot of times it's not exactly who you know, it's who you know that knows how to do the job well. And so I would be glad to provide those services for you as well. So love Flames Nation, love taking care of my Liberty family. And if there's ever anything I can do for you, my contact information is all right here on the screen. And I would love to be a service to you and yours. Thanks so much.
All right. Shout out to our guy, Jason Porter, real estate, the guy in the Lynchburg area. If you need any real estate services. All right. Well, Coleman will be on here in hopefully just a minute. Let's look at what's coming up here with the schedule. And like I said, I mean, Utah Valley, we'll go a little bit deeper into a preview of them and talk a little bit more about Alabama in a minute. But these are two really tough road games to kind of end the year. And then you get that boys game, and then boom, you're right into Conference USA, and a Conference USA schedule where you start out with 2 of your first 3 games are on the road, and they're 2 really tough opponents.
Yeah, these two games, you've got that last game against Boyce that does not matter, and other than to the team, but as from the fan perspective, it's like a practice. But then it's go time for Conference USA. This is what we've kind of been waiting for. Western Kentucky has been on a good little run last 5 games or so. And I don't know how close you are to Western Kentucky, but I wanted to let you know, Nick, that they have a night with Hall of Famer Johnny Bench on Saturday, January the 27th. So if you are not busy that night, you might want to go check in on that game.
Honestly, I was looking into it. From where I'm at, I think Liberty's closer than Western Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
So if I was down at Cincinnati, it would be a little bit closer, but I'm all the way up at the top of Ohio. But all right, it looks like our guy Coleman is ready to jump in. Let's bring him in here. Let me switch this up. Coleman, what's going on, brother?
How's it going, guys? Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, no, thank you for coming on. Where have you been up to lately? I know we chatted last year. Where are you at now? Where you headed? Where you been?
Absolutely. So journey year 2.0, whatever you want to call it, not quite the same as what it was last year. Last year, I quit my job to, pursue it full on. This year, still have a full-time job. So, of course, that keeps me busy 9 to 5 and makes it to where I can't travel across the country like I did last year. So Journey 2.0 is primarily in the Northeast, but on the weekends, I moved to New York. Didn't say that. But on the weekends, I'll try to get within about a 6-8 hour radius in New York to not just make it a Northeast tour. So then conference tournament time, that's when I'll look to hit it hard and hopefully get some great mid and small major action.
Well, 2 things for me. Number one, I think we had you on last year on our show, and I don't know if you had all of this right here, but it's looking good. Maybe if you fill it in a little bit.
I need to fill it in a lot. This is sheer laziness, Will, is what this is.
Life on the road, man.
Yeah.
And then, you came to 3 Liberty games last year in Lynchburg.
Yes.
In the foreseeable future, any trips to Virginia when you're not in the Northeast?
So I don't have anything planned yet, but I would love to. I'm going to have to. I'll have to type in, see just quite how far that journey is. But yeah, you guys had a top-notch environment, and then I'm sure we'll get into it a little bit, but your team this year, I know it's been rougher as of late relative to the beginning of the season, but I'm a believer, even without McGee, that the rest of the crew can step up. Kyle Rode leading the way, that you guys have potential to be a Cinderella again. I know didn't make the tournament last year, oh so close, but I think the switch to Conference USA is actually a better thing for you all than being in the ASUN this year.
Coleman, it kind of feels like with this Liberty team, like coming into the year, if you looked at the schedule and Liberty was 9-3, I think we all would have said, hey, that's great. Like that means we're off to a good start. It's just kind of the way I guess it maybe panned out where you started off 5-0 against Division I teams, then you lose 3 of 4. It maybe felt a little bit different, but when you look at it from a more of a bird's eye view and you look at it and you go, wow, 9-3 against that level of competition actually looks a lot better than maybe you think.
No, absolutely. That tournament you guys were in was stiff mid-major competition, and you all ran through it with ease. So I think that kind of raised the bar a little bit on your expectations for, what Liberty's going to do this upcoming season. So, of course, those have been tapered a little bit with the recent losses. But like you said, you look at it as a whole, Liberty's done a great job. And with their quality wins, there's no reason, as long as they continue to perform about what they've done so far, that they can't be a 13-12 type seed where you all have been in the past when McKay was able to get you guys to the tournament a few years back, that, those 12-5 upsets are the potential ones that, make a Cinderella run.
Yeah. Earlier this year on Mimosas Till March, you did some conference previews. Where did you see kind of, for those of that might be watching and listening that hasn't checked out your podcast and some of those conference previews, they're really good. Where did you have Liberty at the beginning of the season, and like who do you see as far as Conference USA being some of the toughest challengers in the top echelon of the conference?
I had Liberty at number 1. You guys, obviously interesting transition in that the only 5 Conference USA teams returning went a combined 41-59 last year in Conference USA play. Only one of them had a winning record. I think it was Middle Tennessee State at like 11-9. So it was pretty much the middle of the pack that returned, not any huge threats. And then, I mean, New Mexico State, who transitioned in, coming off, their debacle, mismanagement of how their program was run. They, of course, aren't going to have high hopes. Jacksonville State had such a down year last year, more of a rebuilding year this year. Even Sam Houston, I thought, was going to be a little bit of a rebuilding year with their coach leaving. So I think because of that, there's a lot of mediocrity in the rest of Conference USA that I had you guys number 1, and I think it's by a substantial margin in my eyes. Middle Tennessee State, Western Kentucky, to me, are the next 2 right there, maybe Sam Houston. But I think you guys are a notch above the rest in my eyes.
Coleman, talks a little bit about some of the mid-major teams maybe that you saw either in person or that you've just, as a guy who loves to watch basketball. Who are some of the I know you're always trying to predict Cinderella. Who's maybe some of the early front runners this year?
One of them was a Cinderella last year, Princeton. Wow, watching them play, it's not a typical Princeton-style offense that you'd think of. They do a whole lot of isolation, penetration, just allow their skilled athletes to draw 2 defenders and then make everyone else around them better. They have been a joy to watch. St. Joe's is one that I've seen live who was actually able to beat Princeton. They've also beaten Villanova, took Kentucky to overtime. 4 of their 5 leading scorers, double-figure guys, all shoot at north of 40% from 3. So they're so hard to guard when they can spread you out that way. Those are a couple teams right now that may be a little off people's radar that I would have. And then, of course, you've got Florida Atlantic, Colorado State, San Diego State, Memphis. When I was looking at it most recently, 18 of the top 50 teams in the net rankings were mid-majors. So far, this has been, I think, a very strong mid-major non-conference performance, which for my brand I love, and hope we get as many mid-major teams in the tournament as possible.
Hey, and kind of in the same vein, just to follow up with that, we got spoiled at Liberty with 5 years of Darius McGee, watching him. Who are some guys in the mid-major ranks that are kind of, under the radar, just elite players that maybe we need to go out of our way to check out?
To be honest with you, Will, I haven't not been on the road as much yet. I haven't seen anybody in person that wowed me so far that I've seen live like a Darius McGee. I mean, Darius had to be one of the top 5 players that I saw at the mid-major level last year. Eric Reynolds at St. Joe's put on a pretty special performance. At one point, he himself was beating Iona 26-23, was like 7-9 from 3 or something like that. He's a pretty special player, but because his team is so good, he doesn't have to force the issue. If he were on perhaps a worse team, I think he could be a guy that averages 20 few a game like Darius did. But instead, with him having 5 double-figure scorers, he's 17, 18 a game. So I hope to get out there and see some of the elite individuals in mid-major basketball in the country, but I haven't seen anyone yet. Jair Davis, I think, had 26 for Delaware in the game that I watched. Those were a couple of the strong performances I've seen.
All right, my last question for you, Coleman, is you're a man after my own heart when it comes to putting a little bit of coin on college basketball games. Tell me a little bit
Not
about
good at it.
Well, okay, but you're 1 day away. You're 1 day away from
That's how I think.
What's kind of your strategy with picking games?
So I did a science fair project when I was in 6th grade on studying the college football and NFL season for the first 11 weeks and then making predictions based off that. And I went 17-6 in that study or whatever. won my science fair. From that, basically, I found the 10 biggest outliers of the 50 couple teams that I covered. And it happened to be either the worst teams that Vegas just couldn't catch up to how bad they were, and the best teams, Vegas just couldn't catch up to how good they were. So from that, I've derived what I like to call the favorites favorite strategy, although, like I said, I haven't been that successful. I try to stay away from the middle of the pack type teams. So the bottom tier teams, particularly when they're at home, Vegas tends to give them a more favorable line. I'll still fade them. Or the top tier teams, regardless of who they're playing, I'll continue to ride them even if they go to a slump. Because just from the studies that I've done, 56, 57% of the time, those top two and bottom two, that's about their numbers of where they cover at the end of the season. It's just hard to predict at the beginning or the middle of the season who those top and bottom two are.
I got one more on that, Will, and I'll let you get to your last question. I've heard some smarter people that like to handicap some of these games say that Vegas sometimes with the mid-major level can overvalue home court advantage, especially in gyms where there's like 300 people at a game. Do you think that's like sometimes true and there's maybe some value there?
I absolutely think that's a thing, especially like, at the beginning of my journey last year, I started on December 28th. So kids are home for the first 2-3 weeks of when I did the journey. The home court advantage is non-existent outside of the familiarity of playing in that gym often. That I think in the mid-majors for sure, sometimes that home team is overvalued just because that's typically what Vegas does. They're going to give them the advantage.
All right, let's fade some home teams these next 2 weeks. Happy holidays. All right, Will,
Yes.
What do you got?
All in on the way teams. Toughest question for you tonight, probably.
Oh, gosh.
What's your Mount Rushmore of Christmas movies? We all want to know.
Whoa.
Wow.
That's a great question. I love that. Christmas Vacation has to be in there. Elf has to be in there. I'm trying to think of what else I'd throw in there. I mean, from a kid, like I watched Home Alone all the time, so I've got to throw that in there. Don't watch it as much now. Oh, and then Four Christmases with Vince Vaughn. Yeah. I don't know if y'all have seen. I mean, that one's
it's a banger.
He's unbelievable in it. That's my Mount Rushmore.
All right.
Fantastic. All right, well, Coleman, tell everyone where they can keep up with you. Give us all the plugs.
Yes, Sharp Shot Select on TikTok and Twitter. And then Mimosas Till March is my podcast on Spotify, where Will said you can get all the preseason content. And then I'll be doing an update here during Christmas break when we don't have very many games.
All right. Well, appreciate it, Coleman. We'll catch up again soon, and best of luck traveling around the country.
Thank you all so much for having me. Have a good one. Happy holidays.
Thanks, Coleman. All right, let's have a quick word from Flames Rising, and then we'll come back to wrap this bad boy up.
Hey, Flames Nation, this is Kyle Rode.
This is Rachel Root.
This is Kader Salter.
We would just want to say thank you for supporting athletes like us through the Flames Rising Collective.
The Flames Rising Collective is a registered 501c3, providing opportunities for student athletes to use their name, image, and likeness while serving our local community.
100% of everything contributed to the collective will go directly to creating name, image, and likeness opportunities for Liberty student athletes.
Help us be champions for Christ and champions on the field. Flames.
All right, good stuff. All right, let's talk a little about this game tomorrow night. Utah Valley, 8 p.m. Utah Valley coming in 166 in KenPom, right there in net 162. I should know this. I think they're a quad 3, but I think if they go up 2 spots, there are quad 2. I'm gonna find that out. I should have had this, but 160 is the cutoff. I don't know which it is, but we want them to move up a couple spots nonetheless. But Utah Valley, a 11-game home win streak, and they've won 21 of their last 22. This is from the notes that Bill sent over. They were in the NIT Final Four last season, but totally different team this year. First-year head coach. They only have 1 returning player, 11 new players, 7 transfers. The one interesting thing to see is Drake Allen. That's their junior forward. Is he in the starting lineup? He's missed 2 of the last 3 games, but played 25 minutes their last game at Utah. Not currently listed in their game notes as a starter. Kind of a fun player. He transferred from WAC rival that's in their conference, Southern Utah. So in-state, in-conference transfer year to year, but he was first team all WAC. So it's to see if he's in the lineup or not. I was searching a little bit of his name, and he was apparently, well, this is funny. I don't know if this was gamesmanship or what, but he apparently was in a walking boot before the game started when they were doing shoot-arounds, and then came in the game later on. So
yeah, trying to throw everybody off the scent a little bit.
Yeah. So that was funny.
Yeah.
And then the other guy is Caleb Stone
Yeah.
Carrawell. He leads the team with 13.5 points a game. Another one of their transfers from Austin P, but he did not play in the game against Liberty last year. So this is a tough opponent, man. This is a game. Man, you get this win. I think you really, no matter what happens against Alabama, I think you really wrap up conference play feeling really good about yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, obviously, remember, Utah Valley from the NIT Final Four last year. You mentioned earlier kind of the, strange results, I guess, from their schedule that they've had this year. They've played some good teams pretty close and barely won some of their more winnable games, it seems like. They're on a bit of a home win streak. They've won like 21 out of 22 at home dating back to last year. And, Liberty is very similar in the fact that they win a lot at home. So obviously they're going to be tough to play at home. Other than that, it seems like they're a decent 3-point shooting team, not a great rebounding team. So it seems like Liberty will maybe need to rebound well off some misses. Hopefully there won't be a lot of misses, but they'll shoot a little bit better against tougher competition than they have in recent weeks. But rebound well off the misses, create some second chance opportunities, and I think we come in pretty well rested for this game.
Yeah, I have a special visitor, Charlie. I thought I heard someone sneaking in behind me. Charles Kirby making his ASOR Red podcast debut. But yeah, Utah Valley, man, they've had a lot of close, tough losses. Like they were in the game against Utah, their last game, until the last couple minutes, and then it kind of got away from them. Lost at Oregon State by 3. They beat Seattle, which is a really quality top 120 team. They beat, I think you mentioned the same Houston State was. They've had a really quality schedule. So I'm excited about this game. I think it's gonna be a fun game. Interested to see their atmosphere. I've kind of looked a little bit, in some games they have a really good atmosphere, some games they don't. So I don't know what the time of the year it is, but this is a fun game. And I love this WAC CUSA thing. Like, isn't this awesome? Like, I hope I would love for them to do this forever. I think these are two really good conferences I think match up really well.
Yeah, it's for all the talk that we've heard about how difficult scheduling is right now for mid-majors, it's just mutually beneficial for both conferences to be able to put something on the schedule that's going to be comparable competition-wise.
Yeah. All right, and then the last game, we won't be back on before the new year. But so we want to talk a little bit about Alabama. I'm not going to go into too much detail with it still being like 11 days away, but Alabama is number 1 in the country in offensive efficiency. Well, I feel like for this game, it would just be nice if Liberty could keep it single digits. Like, I know that's maybe a loser's mentality, but it feels like, to me, the one thing Liberty's really kind of struggled in is being competitive against elite offenses. Like Alabama, when we saw them play them in the past, Florida Atlantic, these elite offensive, it feels like Liberty just hasn't been able to keep up with. So if they could just hang around in this game and keep it close, keep it competitive, I think that's going to make me feel a lot better about, maybe Liberty's chances of actually, winning a game in the NCAA tournament and not having to play one of these maybe teams that are a good 5 seed, but they're more like the sluggish type teams, and be able to beat an actual really good offense.
Yeah, it won't be a loss. Won't be as disappointing as, say, a Grand Canyon loss in this situation. Yeah. I don't think. I do have a question. I don't know if we've ever really talked about this, and maybe if we have, it'd just be a good refresher for me. But That where it says on that graphic you just had up semi away. Is that something that, I mean, I know it's in Alabama, but it's not on the university like home court. How does like KenPom, does that figure into kind of the rankings that they do? Like those,
yeah,
it's not really neutral court, but it kind of is, I guess technically.
Yeah, Alabama loves doing this semi away because it gives them a little bit better of a boost in terms of not playing just Liberty as a straight home game. So it's in between.
Okay.
It's in between it's in between home and away. It's in between home and neutral on KenPom. KenPom has its own criteria.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
For the net, it's a straight neutral game. There's no in between. Now, in the case of Liberty here, Alabama is almost surefire going to be a quad one game, whether you're playing them on the road or if they're a neutral, because on the road, a quad one is top 75, neutral's top 50. Alabama is clearly going to be a top 50 at the end of the year. So it doesn't really matter for the net as much in terms of Liberty. But for Alabama, it is nice for them, for KenPom, because it doesn't, if KenPom would expect Alabama probably to beat Liberty as a straight home game, probably by 10 is my guess. The semi away, they maybe bump it down to, well, I guess it's 10 now. So maybe it's 14, and then it's a couple extra points. So it gives Alabama a little bit better of a cushion in terms of how well they have to perform. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it did. I wasn't sure if KenPom differentiated between neutral and semi-away, if those were two separate categories or if it was just kind of the same deal. But I've gotten a chance to catch a couple of Alabama games here and there, at least portions of Alabama games. And you said it, offensive efficiency is like, they're just really good. You watch them and you see it. Mark Sears obviously is the guy that, if Liberty has any hope of staying within, that single digits margin, like they're going to have to keep him in check because, he had a really good game against Creighton, even though Alabama lost that game. He gets to the free throw line more than anyone else on the team. He's the kind of the guy that to watch for Alabama.
Yeah, Alabama plays a semi away game against Arizona. So I'm assuming that's probably in Phoenix or something tomorrow. So I really hope Alabama wins that game tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because if they don't, they're going to have lost 5 of 7. And it's like the 5 of 7 stretch that it's not indicative at all about them. They lost an away game at top 10 Creighton by 3. They lost to Purdue by 6 on a neutral in a game that they pretty much had and gave away. 11-point loss to Ohio State on a neutral, and then a home loss to a top 25 Clemson team by 8 points. So I really hope they win that Arizona game, because if they don't, they are going to be looking at that Liberty game. That's their last non-conference game too. We're calling it Liberty's last non-conference game. They're going to be looking at that as hey, we need to make a statement.
Got to get right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I really hope they beat Arizona tomorrow, but I'm not banking on it because Arizona is really, really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking forward to this. I think it's a fun way to end this year. And it has, Will, I think it has been a great calendar year for Liberty basketball. We'll take a quick look at the KenPom. Nothing's really changed. Liberty is still 63, Louisiana Tech at 87. Louisiana Tech, I think that's still the team that's going to give Liberty the most trouble. But we'll kind of see how that shakes out. Net, pretty much the same story. Liberty a little bit higher, Louisiana Tech a little bit higher. New Mexico State somehow 321 in net. And if you've watched New Mexico State play at all, they just lost a game against New Mexico, which is a really, really good team this year. They gave the game away. They had the game won. I think they ended up losing by 3. But yeah, they're really good. And then here's kind of the last schedule here, Will, of CUSA play before or of last non-conference for CUSA. There's actually a couple games tonight. I think St. Mary's plays Western Kentucky, and one of the other teams are in action at 10. But Sam Houston, they play Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon's playing everyone. Louisiana Tech plays Grand Canyon on Saturday. Those are two really good games. And Sam Houston, they play Texas Tech. Sam Houston's another, I think, quality team that's kind of sneaking up. So they got some tough competition here to round out the year. Any other kind of thoughts on CUSA, or you're just kind of like, let's just get the game started?
Yeah, just kind of let's get the game started. This Alabama game coming up, and Boyce, a lot of Flames Nation probably won't be tuning into that game just because of the day that it falls on. So we're just really ready to get into conference play and kind of like focus a little bit more on basketball for all of us in Flames Nation.
All right. Well, since this is our Christmas special, we should have maybe done a little more festive. Let's do it. What's your top 5 Christmas movies?
Ooh. So number 1 is Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sinbad. Wow. That's my number 1. Not many people have that as their number 1, but I go with that one. Obviously, some of the more classics, Elf, Home Alone, The Santa Claus. That's on one of my top ones. How about you?
Well, It's a Wonderful Life's definitely number 1. The greatest movie ever made, regardless.
Buffalo
Christmas.
Gals, won't you come out tonight?
There you
come
go.
Out tonight. Yeah.
I would just kind of go with the ones that I have to see every year. Four Christmases is absolutely up there. The Santa Claus is up there. I would get divorced if I didn't say Elf, so I'm going to say Elf. That's one. I'm missing one. What am I missing? Yeah, that's mine. I don't know. Maybe I didn't do top 5, but those are the must sees every year. But
yeah.
Any final thoughts here, Will?
Yeah. No, man. Go Flames.
Yeah, go Flames. Thanks everyone who watches and pays attention to this silly little show. And it's been a lot of fun. It's been a fun year covering Liberty basketball again. We'll keep it rolling in 2024. We hope that all of you out there have a Merry Christmas and enjoy this time of the year with your families, and hopefully Liberty, man. What a Christmas miracle be to knock off Alabama. But we got to take care of Utah Valley tomorrow night first. But all right, for Will, for Jason Porter Real Estate, thanks for your support. For Experience Leesburg, thanks for your support. Of course, for the GOAT of all coffee, Ironclad Coffee, thanks for your support. This is Nick Kirby. Take care. Go Flames.